Hey everybody! I wanted to do a short video about something that I had come to terms with yesterday, and that is that I don't care. I don't care anymore. It is my firm belief that the internet is a method of keeping everybody on edge, constant feeding of depressing news, media, fakeness, trueness, and everything in between. But I think it is a method to create a heightened sense of fear, skepticism, and almost like a thought of helplessness, if you will. And, I pay attention to a lot of stuff. I've realized the more that I work, I love having work, because the more that I work and I'm focused on the actual job, the less time I'm spending on the internet, and the better I feel. And that's a very substantial thing. And I always knew this, but it has been a decision of mine more recently to continue to pay attention to what's going on and still try to be personally, just individually, a step ahead or knowledgeable in current events and everything. And you still might see me share some new stuff here and there, but the depressing come to terms of reality is that there is really nothing that anybody is truly doing about it. Everybody wants to get their own message out there, and that's not how change is going to happen. It's through a collective measure of unity and very similar, an expression of very similar, cohesive expression of demands, if you will, that the people actually want. So with the technocratic evolution, AI, the idea of robots, government overreach, and I think all those things, especially government overreach and the technocratic society, if you will eventually implement a surveillance state, which, who's fighting it? Huh? We're all still paying, we deal with these taxes. We all, you have your choice to move to other states that might have no income tax, such as Tennessee, Florida, Texas, Nevada. That's all well and good. But collectively, there isn't much being done other than us individually bending over and say, tax me harder, daddy, and just dealing with it and money out the door. Even with this, all not to get into inflation and all that other stuff, but so, with that, I just find it very depressing, and I don't have a sense of hopelessness. And, I don't want to be selfish in saying that I don't really care, because I do care. But individually, there's not much that I could do about it, or any of you. And I don't, again, see any methods of any sort of pushback or course correction. And that's sad. That is sad. So what I've come to terms with is, again, just me personally try to just pay attention and still be not ahead of the game, but at least with the game, if not just a small half step behind, but at least aware of what's going on, and to focus on my life. I joke around, and you're still going to see me maybe share a few things here and there. There's some people, I believe, that think that they are creating significant change just by sharing stuff on social media to their peers. And that's all well and good. It might feel like you have a sense of purpose in doing that, but realistically, what kind of change are you making? I don't know. Those are my initial thoughts I wanted to do, there's a lot of different things where I want to do podcasts about certain ideas, and then I let the idea, like I said, I just thought of this like yesterday and kind of came to terms with this, like, who cares? Who cares anymore? And my selfish thought is maybe if I did have children and a family and all that, it might be a little different, and I might fight a little harder to preserve the values that I want to see in future generations, but selfishly, I do not. And that gives me the thought that, you know, I think people should be paying attention. I think if you do have a family and your kids and you want the best for them to continue to, you know, try to make the best impact, and that primarily is going to be within your own household, not trying to fight the war on income tax or trying to fight your inflated electric bills because of AI consumption. You know, what are you going to fight the taxes? The tollway taxes in Illinois? Well, that's going to be, go ahead, try it. I don't think J.B. Pritzker is you know, an amazing fighter or anything like that physically, but he does have more weight on you. So if you tried to fight him, you know, he could probably use his weight, push you around. I don't know. I'm just kidding around. But yeah, just staying, focusing primarily on your own household, you know, and then what will happen with the technocratic society, technocrats, and their implementation of their technology, corruptness, and the government system, which there is none shy of, the development of surveillance states. You know, who knows? Maybe it will come to fruition that by 2030 we do see a surveillance state develop. Maybe we do end up with 15-minute cities. And, you know, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You can't say exactly what you're going to do because we're not in that situation yet, but you as an individual, are you going to fight against that personally, individually? So there's a lot of questions. The fear part of social media and the internet, I think, would lead me to believe for the past at least 10 years. It's like, oh, we got AI development. We're going to have robots taking over our cities in the next 2 years. Well, it's been 10 years, and these robots still walk around like infants. Not to say that there won't be a significant development in the next few years. We do have robot AI dogs. We got, you know, everybody, you know, they still don't have firearms strapped to their back, you know, at least in the civilian basis that we would fear in a military sense. Maybe that is beneficial and already being implemented out there, no doubt. But yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Huh? What are you going to do? You're going to keep paying those taxes. You're going to try and make sure that your kids are going to school with a lunch, or they have money to buy lunch. Right? You're going to hopefully try to instill them with values that just true values and good values and moral values and values that are beneficial to society. And if you see them through the influence of social media and friends and whatnot to divert from that, kind of figuratively knock a little sense into them, have discussions. You know, if they're developing thoughts, right now is probably a crucial time for your kids to be challenged mentally with thought processes, and just ask the question, why? What do you think? Why do you think this? And having some of those tough conversations. And it's not even tough conversations, you know? So, I don't know, but I started to say, I have these ideas on certain topics that I really want to and would like to have podcasts with all these things, but it's taken me a while, obviously. and the best for me is to, well, I have the impulse and these ideas to just get the idea out there. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, huh? I don't know. If you have any thoughts, any contradictions that you would like to include in the comments below, or if you're a friend of mine, send me a direct message. Either way, that's cool. And this isn't a message to doom and gloom, in a sense that you know, there's nothing you could do about it, so don't do anything about it. You know, I am a believer that, but I don't know. I'm just conflicted, because at this point, it's almost like throwing your hands up in the air and saying, yeah, it is what it is, and governments be governmenting, you know, technocrats be technocrating, you know, corruption be corrupting. And yeah, anyways, I'll leave you with that. Just food for thought. Very interesting. And maybe my idea on this will develop over time, and maybe my ideas will change in the near to distant future. And but ultimately, it'd be great to see some real change and unity between people, and I think that is the only way to go. And I think if, for example, if we were all to get together, unify as a people, and try and combat the what I would consider tyranny and taxes, for example, that is one issue. And if that were to get done, because that is an extreme feat in itself. So if we were to get past that one thing, that could develop a system to branch out into these other tough issues where we feel like we don't have any option, any authority, or any say-so. What do you think?